Alright, we're going to take a look now at the science station. So the first screen that they have is the probe control screen. Now, probes are basically like small robots that you can launch out into space, and depending on the type of probe you pick, they can do different things. So if you look over here on the left, we have three different types. We have science, sensors, and tactical. Science will basically go out there, gather information. Usually they have a specific purpose for being launched, like they're being launched towards a supernova because they're going to gather information about that. The sensors probe, it's very similar to the science probe where you just launch it out, it gathers information. It's kind of the basic one, the one that most kids are probably going to use most often. The last kind of probe is a tactical probe. Tactical is a weapons probe, so they can launch that out, they can shoot at enemies, they can ram into them, whatever, with the tactical probe. So to launch the probe, they just need to click on the one they want to launch, and it will send that probe out, which means they don't need to click on it over and over and over. They click once and it launches. Then down here, the probe command box is where they can type in what they want that probe to do. So for example, I just launched a sensor probe. Once I launch it, it's just going to go sit outside the ship, and unless I tell it to do anything else, it's just going to sit there and scan and send me information. So let's say that I want this probe to go to Earth. I would type go to Earth. Pretty easy, right? Click send command, and it sends that command to the sensor probe. Let's say that I launch a tactical probe. Then I could send a probe command to attack the enemy ship, right? You can get as specific as you want. You could, with the tactical probes, tell them to attack the engines on the enemy ship, or whatever. Then over here on the right is where the probe information appears, where if, let's say you send a sensor probe out and it sees 5 enemy ships approaching, it's going to say, 5 cartel or enemy, whatever enemy the name it is, like 5 cartel ships detected approaching. Anytime this officer gets information here, they need to yell it out so the entire crew knows what's going on. The other screen they're in charge of is the records screen. The records, it kind of gives information about what's going on in the mission. So let's say, for example, the ship, they traveled to Earth. Then the officer would write, we went to Earth, and then would continue later. We talked to the cartel ship and had a battle with them, right? It just kind of keeps a running log of what happens during the mission. It can be as detailed or simple as they would like. And then if they ever need to, they can launch the records down here by just clicking the launch records. I usually recommend that this officer launches records if the ship is under attack. That way they can launch it out. It's kind of like an airplane black box where if for some reason the ship was destroyed, other people could find our records and figure out what was going on with the ship. So just if you notice that a kid is typing but hasn't launched the records, you might want to recommend that they launch them so that it will save them.